क्या आप IAS की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स को 2.5 लाख तक की फीस नहीं पे करना चाहते? अगर हाँ, तो 22,500 रुपए में घर बैठ के StudyIQ के पेनड्राइव कोर्स के साथ आप IAS की तैयारी कर सकते हैं। आज ही विजिट करें StudyIQ.com।
Hello friends and welcome to StudyIQ. In this lecture, we will discuss about the difference between payments bank and regular banks. We will see how the payments bank are different from regular banks in India. We will also discuss about the important features of the IPPB, that is Indian Post Payments Bank, which was launched recently. Now, if we look into the background of the popularity of the payments bank in India, we will see that from demonetization, payments bank like the Paytm, Airtel, etc. gained a lot of popularity, and it was after the demonetization that these payments bank became very much popular in the country. And again, recently the Indian Post Payments Bank became operational on the 1st of September 2018. The Indian Post Payments Bank has branches in 650 districts and it has 3,250 access points. And also by the end of this current year, all of the 1,55,000 post offices in the country are expected to be linked with the Indian Post Payments Bank, and that was the most highlighted feature of the IPPB, that it will be linked with the post offices, and this will bring access to every common individual in the country, especially the rural sector and also the unorganized sector. So that was the main highlight of the IPPB. So with this IPPB also coming into the picture, the Indian Post Payments Bank along with other private payments bank, the payments bank network in India is getting more and more popular, and also it is reaching every common citizen in the country, and that is why we need to know what is the difference between payments bank and regular banks. So in examinations, especially bank related examinations, there can be questions which will ask you to differentiate between the features of payments bank and other regular scheduled commercial banks. So you should have a thorough idea about what is the difference between payments bank as well as regular banks in the country. Now let us briefly see what is payments bank. The Reserve Bank of India, which is the apex bank, issues guidelines for licensing of payments bank. So the guidelines for providing licenses to the payments bank are issued by the Reserve Bank of India, which is the apex bank in the country, and the main objective of promoting the payments bank is to enhance financial inclusion. So the payments bank provides small savings accounts, payments and remittance services, especially to the migrant labor worker force, for low income households, for small businesses, other unorganized entities, etc. So considering their reach and access to rural and backward sectors of the economy, they are sure to enhance the financial inclusion. And one of the major objectives of the present government is to improve the financial inclusion and channelize various government schemes and subsidies through financial institutions. So payments bank in this direction will be very helpful. So the main objective is to enhance the financial inclusion, and Reserve Bank of India will provide for the guidelines for the issue of licenses to the payments bank. In the year 2015, in the month of August, the Reserve Bank of India gave approval for 11 entities to start payments bank in India. So that was the beginning of payments bank, and the first payments bank was thus Airtel Payments Bank. Airtel was the first payments bank in India. We have other payments banks like Paytm Payments Bank, Fino Payments Bank, Aditya Birla Payments Bank, and the recent India Post Payments Bank, which is a government owned payments bank. All other payments bank are private, but IPPB or India Post Payments Bank is a government owned payments bank. Now let us see how is this payments bank different from other regular banks or from scheduled commercial banks. We will see this on various parameters. First, with regard to loan or credit card facility, the payments bank are not allowed to issue any loan or credit card facility to its customers. So compared to the regular banks or scheduled commercial banks, they are not allowed to provide loan facility. But when it comes to scheduled commercial banks, the major economic activity of the scheduled commercial banks is lending. So their main business is lending business, and major two activities are lending and accepting deposits. So compared to the scheduled commercial banks, the lending business is not allowed in the payments bank. Next one is coming to the savings account. We have seen that for a scheduled commercial bank, two major activities are lending and accepting deposits. But when it comes to a payments bank, there are various restrictions on savings account. The maximum balance allowed is 1 lakh. So the payments bank can accept only deposits up to 1 lakh. But there is no such restriction in case of scheduled commercial banks or regular banks. The third one, interest rates. Comparing the interest rates of the payments bank with the regular banks, we will see that the rates of interest are almost similar in payments bank and regular banks. For example, the IPPB, the Indian Post Payments Bank, provides 4% of interest rates to its customers. Next one is fixed deposits. There is no provision of fixed deposits in the payments bank. But in case of regular banks, there are fixed deposits. So they will accept fixed deposits. But in case of payments bank, they will not accept fixed deposits. Now coming to recurring deposits. The payments banks are not allowed to receive recurring deposits also. So there is no provision for fixed deposits as well as recurring deposits. And all these are according to the guidelines issued by the Reserve Bank of India. Now let us analyze the features of the IPPB, that is Indian Post Payments Bank. The interest rates in the Indian Post Payments Bank is 4%, which is similar to other regular banks. Secondly, the IPPB provides doorstep services. That is, for example, if a person wants to open an account, the executive will come and then he will guide in opening an account. So doorstep services are provided in the IPPB. Now thirdly, coming to the service charges. For opening an account, the Indian Post Payments Bank charges no fees. That is, opening an account is free of cost in IPPB. When it comes to cash transactions, the IPPB charges 25 rupees plus GST. In case of non-cash transactions, it is 15 rupees plus GST. So there are service charges in Indian Post Payments Bank. Next one is the QR card. The account holders will be issued a QR card, and this card will have a unique QR code. So each customer will have a QR card and the card would bear unique QR code. And the transactions will be authenticated using the biometrics of the account holder. Now, next is the ATM card or the debit card. The payments bank IPPB does not offer the facility of ATM card or debit card to its customers. Next one is the checkbook facility. The IPPB account holders will get a checkbook if they have current accounts. So for the current account holders, there is a provision of checkbook facility. But in case of savings account holders, there is no provision for checkbooks. Next is the mobile banking app. The IPPB provides for a mobile banking app which can be used for checking the balances, to get the bank statements, for online bill payments, for online transfers, etc. So there is also a provision for mobile banking app. Now, in the context of the payments bank, let us also look at the Nachiket Mor Committee, which was appointed by the government. The name of the committee was Committee on Comprehensive Financial Services to Small Business and Low Income Households. This Committee on Comprehensive Financial Services to Small Business and Low Income Households was chaired by Nachiket Mor. The chairman was Nachiket Mor, and that is the reason this committee is popularly known as Nachiket Mor Committee. This committee submitted its report to the government in the year 2014. And the main suggestion of this committee was that the government should adopt a multi-pronged strategy to achieve financial inclusion. That is, when we say multi-pronged strategy, it means that the government should not rely only on generalist institutions like the banks. Bank is a generalist institution, so the government should not only depend on generalist institutions like the banks to promote financial inclusion, but the government must give focus on promoting various types of small specialist financial institutions. And Among the recommendations of the Nachiket Mor Committee, one important recommendation was the establishment of Payments Bank. So, this committee headed by Nachiket Mor recommended to the central government in 2014 that Payments Banks should be established for providing deposits and remittance services to poor households. So, in this context of Payments Bank, this committee recommendation is very important. Please remember the name of the committee, at least name of the chairman. The Committee on Comprehensive Financial Services to Small Businesses and Low Income Households, which was chaired by Nachiket Mor, recommended for the establishment of Payments Bank in India. And it was according to this committee recommendation that the government approved for Payments Bank and the RBI came up with guidelines for the issue of licenses to Payments Bank in India. And Payments Bank was one such small specialist financial institution which gave more focus for small business and low income households, and it plays a major role in enhancing the financial inclusion in the economy, especially within the rural, unorganized, low income households, small businesses, etc. So please remember this committee as well. You can find the PDF of this lecture on my Facebook page. Thank you.
क्या आप IAS की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स को 2.5 लाख तक की फीस नहीं पे करना चाहते? अगर हाँ, तो 22,500 रुपए में घर बैठ के StudyIQ के पेन ड्राइव कोर्स के साथ आप IAS की तैयारी कर सकते हैं। आज ही विजिट करें StudyIQ.com।